Realize, rolling on, when your flower grows. That song is a decas. It has 10 syllables, 2 syllables in the first line, 3 in the second, 5 in the third. Realize. And decas are the form that I originated, but it's really a wisdom-catching tool. 2 syllables, 3 syllables, 5 syllables. Just 10 syllables that you speak out loud or you sing out loud to another living being. We have these proverbs that we've inherited, and I don't know about you, but my mama, Rachel Bagby the elder, she's from Philadelphia, where I'm from, near Temple, North Philadelphia, and I grew up with so many proverbs. Make hay while the sun shines. Everybody knows several of them. You know, a bird in the hand is worth more than 2 in the bush. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. How many birds have you held in your hands lately? But we're all saying these things to each other all the time. The challenge is, though, that a lot of these proverbs, they don't really help us out where we're living right now. And we have so many complex situations that we really need to tend to, and the old proverbs don't help. My mama was so fond of telling me, when in Rome, do like the Romans do. When in Rome, do like the Romans do, because I was one of those weird kids. When in Rome, do like the Romans do. But I finally said to her, Mama, this ain't Rome. And if it is, then I'm a Roman, and how we do it, how I do it, is how Romans do it, right? But how will we create the proverbs that we need? Where will they come from? And what situations do we need more wisdom for today? Like, some of us are confused about the difference between government and governing, and we do need more governing in this country right now. So at some point, I'm going to be asking you to start creating some decas that address the problems that you are facing and that you see us facing as a people. So what would some of those topics be, or what are those areas in your life that are asking for more wisdom? This is what Dekaaz offers. Dekaaz is spelled D-E-K-A-A-Z. D-E-K-A-A-Z. Deka, D-E-K-A, for the Greek word for the number 10, and A to Z, the range of situations in life that it can apply to. And when I work with organizations, individuals, schools, I taught the form Dekaaz to 2,500 professors and teachers of composition and rhetoric at their yearly professional organization, because I want to get that. I actually made a promise to my source for that, and I'll tell you the origin story in just a while, but I made the promise to spread the form around the world. And so I'm making the invitation here for us to do that as well. And I just figured out when we sat here in the beginning that I am determined. We have the first 2 lines of a Dekaaz. I am determined to ... And we have chalk, and we have this chalk screen on the front of the stage. So at the end of our talk, I'm really going to invite you to come and write your Dekaaz out. But let me tell you how the form began. I am in law school. I'm studying at Stanford Law, and we're told as we come in the first day that you are the creme de la creme, and you're going to be protecting the powers that be, ruling the world, you know, the sorts of things they say at institutions like that. So in my second year, I'm grateful to be there. I'm learning a lot. I majored in social change, and I'm getting lots of tools to do just that. But I'm also learning things that, based on my sense of values, feel kind of lawless to me when I think about the natural laws of life itself. So in my second year, I take a year off to live in an intentional community where they profess to bring together the heart and the head and really live from that base. And on my first night there, I was raped by one of the residents, one of the members, as he was calling me goddess. And I'm standing there wondering if there's any truth to the theory of reincarnation, because here, if the creme de la creme that I was learning how to serve and be was not my place, and here, if this place that's devoted to heartfulness has such a heartless welcoming, then where is there a place for me to be? So I'm deciding this is a mountain community. Why don't I just go test out this theory of reincarnation and see if these wings would work? So I'm looking for a high place to go fling myself. You know, I'm impetuous, I'm in my 20s, I'm thinking, well, what the heck, you know. But my mama, the elder, is going with me. You didn't give yourself life, you can't take your life without asking life for a reason to keep living. And I'm walking, I'm going, hush, mama, you know, I'm going, I've got a goal. And all of a sudden, but I pay attention, you know, I ask, okay, life, if you got it, give it up, because I'm on my way out. And all of a sudden, as though I'm in a multi-screen theater, I see screen after screen of ways that human beings just rip things up out of the earth, or take things, or remove mountaintops because we think we need that energy, or do what we want. But I also see scene after scene of such beauty in the rivers and the waters clearing themselves. Roll on. I also see spring continuing to happen, and the flowers grow. And I'm slowing down. The rivers roll. So I'm surrounded by thousands and thousands of voices, and I go, okay, Mom, you got my attention. I think I'll stay. But I wasn't talking to the mama that gave my body birth, no. Because in the neighborhood where I grew up, anyone who was a woman, older than you, big and brown, was your mama. And that mountain was older than me, big and brown. So I adopted that mountain as my mama. I said, all right, Mama, I'm here. I'm not bothering with human beings anymore. I stopped talking. But I'm going to hang out with you quite a bit. And I found places on this mountain where I just loved to make myself nice and cozy and hang out and watch life. And one day I'm sitting in my favorite spot on Mama's lap, nestled in nice and good, and just watching, and all of a sudden something comes to my mind, sitting on poems. The mountain writes me. Wow. But the first way I heard it was sitting on poems, I write the mountain. So where there was a sense of agency, as though just by observing, being quiet and still, and loving this being that I had adopted, I started to see so much of life that depended on this place. And I also understood that this place we call a planet is not just some inert being. There's processes of regeneration going on continually. And I'm so excited, I start running down the side of the mountain into the village. There's this one family that I really trusted so much. And I'm running down yelling, hey, I have this insight, I want to really share it. And they're going, oh my God, Rachel's running down the hill and screaming. There must be something up. Because I wasn't talking to people much. But I said, no, I just heard something that has saved my life. Sitting on poems, the mountain writes me. Oh, no, that's wrong. No, who writes it was the regeneration effect. And speaking it out loud showed me how I was part of this regeneration, and telling it to another person, I heard the truest part of that form. And thus the decas were born. 10 syllables, 2 syllables in the first line, 3 in the second, 5 in the third. And so here's some other examples for you. If you could turn the lights on so they could see. Cat's eye to cat's eye, we mouse through the storm. Cat's eye to cat's eye. Have you ever been in one of those storms or those kind of purple hazy kinds of fogs where you can't see anything except for that one spot on the road that your light is shining on? And how many moments do you have like life like that? Or the IPCC just brought out their 5th report that says, yep, sure enough, human activity is really warming the planet. Warming our planet. When will the frog jump? But there's something that, an experience that we're all sharing in together that is bringing or brought to mind a decas that I would use and would leave you with today. And that is about this beautiful, glorious theater that we're in that has such amazing acoustics. The mic is for the video, but this house sound itself is just so phenomenal. Well, this was a dilapidated, old, rundown, built in 1903 for vaudeville, old dame of a theater, and a lot of folks came together and said, you know, let's make it something else. And a lot of the women led that. And I hear tell that, you know, one woman in particular put her foot down, and yes, that is a play on words, but Ms. Foot said, you know, she gathered a lot of other women under her wings, and sometimes the women were women who were at a crossroads in their lives, and they needed a place to be and to serve. So women held in love heal communities. And I don't know how many of you know that that's true in your lives, that the women are doing that role. So there's all kinds of ways that you can use decas. Here's some other of my favorites. Let us redefine touch as a food group. I'm for that. And no one caresses my feet like the earth. And here's a one by a doctor, Sally Goodwin. Laughter increases oxygen intake. And another by Holly Thomas. Dear you, keep asking, love Copernicus. Yeah, Copernicus, born during the time when we really thought that everything still revolved around Earth, right? And Copernicus said, wait, let's use some other ways of seeing and perceiving and see there might be some other reality out there. So there might be some other reality out there in your lives. What kind of situations do you want to express more wisdom with? Raising a child, taking care of your elders, work-life balance, being that artist that is looking for the way to bring forward your fullness, and how to put it in a decas so that it becomes a declaration of sorts. You know, I wish for Decas fests all over the place, walking around and seeing this really, really sweet place called Phoenixville. I'm going, whoa, can you imagine what would the 128 forms of beauty, generosity, love, solutions to the parking situation here? What would you speak of with decas in this very place? By the way, there's 128 forms because it's a mathematical solution. You can have 2 syllables in the first line, a 2-syllable word, or a 1-syllable word, in the, 2 1-syllable words in the first line. No matter how many words you have, just as long as the syllable count is held true, then you have your decas, which means there's 128 possible variations. And you could all get around here in the town of Phoenixville and have a decas day and say, we're going to solve the parking problem, and come up with 128 decas to do it. I bet you 1 or 2 of them in there would strike a chord. And so as we move throughout the rest of this time, consider writing a decas for your experience or your question or your longing or your love or your gratitude or your, whatever. I'm going to give you one of my favorite ones to bring us back together. Evening colors yawn Night's eyes open wide. Evening, evening. Colors yawn, colors yawn. Night's eyes open wide. You really have to hear the bass behind me rocking it. Morning, morning shadows, night, night stars. The light of the day, but the brightness of the night. Evening colors, your night's eyes open wide. Morning, morning shadows, night, night, stars. Go out, Dekaazens. Write those shiny decas. Bring us wisdom. Thank you.